Week 2. Feels annoying to do this as I've lost my voice quite randomly this week, but just still power on and come and record. And I guess share what I've been thinking about. It's been an interesting week. I think the thing top of mind that I'm reflecting on is Transcendental meditation. It's a style that I've never really tried up to about a month ago, where I went and learned it from a teacher. I got sort of what they call initiated, just the process of learning it. And it's different. It's different to mindfulness or like all of these other techniques that I might have been practicing, but in a really exciting and interesting way. And I think the reason why it's top of mind for me is I've used it a few times to increase energy when I've needed it the most. And meditation isn't really associated with increased energy for the most part, although visualization and a few other techniques have really done that for me. But TM has been one style that's been really obvious when I do it, and when I do it well, just this explosion of energy that almost happens. I remember the first few days after I learned it, my wife one day just saying at 10, 11 p.m. I was just in bed radiating energy, just feeling so awake, so wired from trying to do the practice. And really noticing that effect outside of the time I was practicing. And the reason why it's top of mind for me now, it's been about a month since I learned it. I've not done it every day. I've been doing my regular meditation practice every day, but yesterday was a day where I was a little bit sleep deprived, had a family event on where I needed to be on full form to help out, and it was a wedding event, so lots of busyness in a family member's day to day, and I was supporting just things around the house. And when I woke up, I was like, okay, this feels like a day where TM will quite help me. And normally I've got a focused attention meditation practice on a leaf or sort of this open awareness practice, and I've been doing that for a while. But yesterday I just woke up and I was like, okay, I need just to be on form. And TM, every time I've practiced it, it's led to this sort of lightening of my mind, this mental lightness. And again, yesterday did exactly that. And I'm still trying to analyze and understand what the mechanics of what's going on. But my current understanding is, with a TM practice, I'm weakening the stickiness of thoughts, and therefore a day like yesterday where you're around lots of people, you might have self-conscious thoughts, you might have thoughts of comparison, or thoughts of overstimulation. Even if you still have those thoughts, and I probably did throughout the day yesterday, their stickiness is just gone. And therefore I'm able to go through the day and really do one thing at a time. If I'm talking to someone, I can really be immersed with them and give them a lot of energy. And then if I get pulled to do something here, I'm really just in the moment doing it. And there's no residual thought process that's happening from the conversation. Actually, let me correct myself. Any residual thought process that's still happening from the conversation I've just been pulled from feels lighter and less sticky. And yesterday I did it twice. I did a 20-minute practice in the morning, a 10 or so, 10, 15-minute practice maybe in the afternoon, slipping away from the event. And I was just on really, really good form. Like I was able to talk to people, make jokes, laugh, like just be genuinely curious, to build connections with people. And then on the flip side, I had this sense of mental lightness. The only way I can describe it is like before or after like a busy work day, I would have this sense of like a weight on my head, like just an accumulation of thoughts that just sits here. And with TM, compared to other meditation styles, for me, it's been a case of an instant lightening of the load. And I'm still trying to get my head around TM because it's a mantra style meditation. So meaning I've got a word that I'm repeating in my own mind, but it's not repetition in the sense of this really forced, regular repetition, like prayer beads or anything like too rhythmic. It's very, the key with TM is holding it lightly, and it's still the part that confuses me, if I'm being honest, like holding, like how do you hold a word lightly in your mind? I'm doing it so I can understand how it happens, but it's how does holding a word lightly and returning to it when a thought might arise, when a sound might arise, letting everything happen, the same way you would just return to a breath, you're returning to a word, internally said, but you're not, like with breath focus, I think there's a feeling that I'm kind of sometimes guiding my attention back to my breath. With TM, it feels like, or the instruction that is given is to not make it feel effortful. So I asked my teacher, if on a day my mind is very busy and I try to do TM, there's lots of thoughts, what do you do? And his response was, don't fight your thought with the mantra. So don't use it, don't like pull yourself and drag yourself to it, which I thought was like different to everything that I've learned with the other techniques like mindfulness, even like attention training on an object. Like if I get distracted, I'm bringing my attention back to this. Whereas this really was the sort of teaching seems to be like let the mantra arise kind of naturally in the background, and yeah, still figuring that one out as to the mechanics, but the impact of it on my life, crystal clear as day, and a unique style of meditation or mental training or tool, whatever you want to call it, to add to the toolkit, because yesterday was a perfect example where like none of my other techniques would have really got my mind feeling the way it did as TM did for me. It was maybe a visualization technique can sometimes free up energy, but visualization I find also can, like if you have a really good visualization there, you feel amazing, but it's a harder one to sometimes sink into, especially as reliably. But yeah, I'm just reflecting on the types of conversations I was having, the volume of conversations, and the lack of tiredness I felt, like to the point where from about 7 a.m. to about 8 p.m. the event was on. After that, I ran 3 errands of dropping people to different locations. And in between those errands, I felt so mentally fresh and awake that I rang a family member, like a cousin, this far away, just to have a catch up and like fully present, laughing and joking with them, throwing different ideas of plans together. It wasn't like I had to use that moment as like an in-between reset. It was that, again, I was mentally fresh enough to like be like, let's have a call and chat to someone. Bearing in mind, this is all I've been doing all day. And I could see even people around me tiring by the end of the day. And of course I was feeling tired. But the difference in the lightness of my mind, even for myself, knowing how I would have felt in the past doing like an intense day like that versus yesterday, I didn't have any of that self-ruminating chatter about, oh, this has been a long day, you should feel tired now. Or I was trying to go back and forth with ChatGPT on this and to see if it had a unique point of view on understanding the mechanical side of what I experienced. And it said something interesting. It said, imagine driving a car with the handbrake on. You're using energy. There's resistance, right? And the essence of what it was saying was, normally you're going through the day and you have a lot of thoughts that use your energy. So a technique like TM isn't giving you more energy, it's reducing this energy suck of ruminating thoughts, and therefore it feels like you've got more energy, or like you're driving a car without the handbrake on, but you're just not, maybe it's not the best metaphor, but you're just not burning the energy in the same way through the mind, perhaps. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like a perfect technique, and I've definitely like experienced some of the early things about it that I don't like personally. Like some days when I was doing it every day, like a sense of lightheadedness, giddiness, like less grounded and in my body than I like to be. But knowing in the moments where I'm like, I need to like feel lighter, I've got a lot of other things to ground me, aka people, things I need to do. And there it felt like the perfect technique. So yeah, definitely going to be one for the toolbox. Definitely one I want to explore more in the future. Play around with using different phrases, different variations of that style. But yeah, I think it's a really beautiful technique. It was obviously very popular in the Western world in the 70s and 80s is what I learned, and I wanted to figure out why, and I think I'm just 1% starting to understand it. But yeah, that's my reflection for the week. See you in the next one.